November 21st meeting of the St. Bernard Village Council will please come to order. We invite you to stand for the prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Our Father, who art in heaven, as a body we congregate in this council chambers for the betterment of our fellow citizens, lead us that we may do all things well. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Present.
Mr. Stuchel?
Present.
Mr. Edwards?
Present.
Ms. Hausfeld? Here. Mr. Schuldmeier?
Present.
Mr. Culbertson?
Present.
And Mr. Estep?
Present.
Let the record show that all 7 members are present and no members are absent. Members of council, what is your pleasure on the reading of the last minutes?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to dispense with the reading of the last minutes. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Members of council, are there any errors or corrections to the minutes as submitted? If not, the minutes will stand as submitted. At this point of the meeting, I will turn it over to Mr. Estep, who has a presentation of one of our new businesses in town.
Thank you, Mr. President. In our presence tonight is DF Designs, owned by Derek Fisher at 4711 Vine Street. He's one of the newer businesses in St. Bernard, so we invited him to council tonight to tell us a little bit about himself and about his company.
Good evening, St. Bernard, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight. My name is Derek Fisher, and I am a jeweler. I am extremely proud to announce that DF Designs Jewelry and Repair is open for business. Born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, I grew up by LaSalle High School and graduated from there in 2018. I was exposed to the jewelry trade in September of 2020, and I was instantly enamored with the idea of being able to create works of art with precious metals and gemstones. Since then, I have taken courses at New Approach School for Jewelers in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've worked diligently to hone my craft over the past 4 years. I do everything from basic repairs to hand-making jewelry from scratch. This includes chain repair, ring resizing, prong repair, cleaning and polishing, soldering, welding, watch battery replacement, loose stone tightening, gemstone replacement, bridal jewelry, antique jewelry restoration, and custom jewelry. Anything you can dream, I can bring to life. Opening my own store has been a dream come true, and I am so appreciative of the warm welcome the great people of St. Bernard have given me. Through honesty and transparency, I promise to provide high-quality craftsmanship and expertise to all my customers. While I have the stage, I would like to thank my parents, Dan and Eileen Fisher, for none of this would be possible without them. DF Designs is located at 4711 Vine Street with a municipal parking lot right next door. I'm open 11 to 7, Monday through Friday, and I look forward to serving St. Bernard's jewelry needs for hopefully years to come. Any questions?
Questions, anyone? Thanks and welcome to St. Bernard. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for
You're
having
welcome.
me.
Thank you. And that was 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., correct?
Yep.
Got it.
Business card, right here.
We'll pass them out afterwards. Thank you. All right. All right, at this time, we'll move to reports of city officials. Mayor, Mr. Stuchel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, as a reminder, the Village Christmas celebration, Light Up St. Bernard, again, is Saturday, December 7th. Again, St. Bernard's Christmas celebration will be December 7th from 5 to 9 p.m., which will consist of the holiday fresh market starting at 5 p.m. on Washington Avenue, the tree lighting ceremony at City Hall at 6 p.m. with the Delta Kings, pictures with Santa and Mrs. Claus. Again, make sure you bring your own camera or phone. Ride on the trolleys and participate in the Village Packs Will Light for Food contest. We'll have a petting zoo, cookies and hot chocolate and coffee in the main hall. The Queen City High Railer train display will be in the Teen Center. And of course, a reminder, Santa and Mrs. Claus will be riding around town that morning handing out treats to all the kids. The Will Light for Food contest, again, directly benefits the St. Clement Food Pantry. The participating homes will be officially judged on Saturday the 7th from 6 to 8:30 where spectators are asked to place canned goods in the bins outside of their favorite decorated home. Strongly encourage that you make your way around town on foot, but those who wish, the village will have trolleys available to take you around to see the lights. The Light Up St. Bernard kits will be available for pickup on the following dates and times: Monday, December 2nd, and Wednesday, December 4th, from 5 to 8 p.m. in the Recreation Office, and on Monday, December 2nd through Friday, December 6th in City Hall during normal business hours from 9 to 5. Those who are willing to help set up for Light Up St. Bernard are welcome to meet us on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the, not this Saturday, Saturday the actual 7th, at the Recreation Office at 1 p.m. We'll be placing luminaries on Vine Street for the event, so any questions or if you're able to commit, it would be appreciated. Please feel to reach me directly at 543-3780. Again, Santa and Mrs. Claus will be traveling around the village on Saturday the 7th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have the Santa tracker ready for you, so you'll be able to track Santa and Mrs. Claus. Please go to either the Recreation Facebook page, the village website, or Facebook page, where the link will be available Saturday morning at 9:45 a.m. Congratulations goes to Sergeant Robert Bass from the St. Bernard Police Department on his recent promotion. We'll also be having a formal swearing-in ceremony for all members of the police and fire department that have not had the opportunity to have it done in the presence of council and the community. This will be done on December 19th council meeting at approximately 7:30. There'll be a reception immediately following the council meeting, and everyone is encouraged to attend. The CIC had a presentation from Civitas Development Group this week for the St. Bernard Square redevelopment project. Updated architecture and plans were presented, and momentum is building on this project. Stay tuned for further information. And the CIC is moving their December meeting to Tuesday the 17th at 6 p.m. in council chambers. Also, if there's anyone that is interested in the position of treasurer, please contact me directly before the end of November. Lastly, a reminder that on Tuesday, November 26th at 2 p.m., I will be proclaiming it Roger Bacon Girls Volleyball Day in the village of St. Bernard. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Auditor, is there a report from auditor? Nope. Director of Law, Ms. Van Valkenburg.
Thank you. You have before you tonight 3 ordinances for consideration, that I prepared. Ordinance number 30, which is adopting a new chapter to Title III, Chapter 1340, which involves the registration of vacant properties. And I did make the change, and it was circulated earlier this week, that you requested at Section 1340.99, clarifying that the penalty is, any penalty is rendered is in addition to having to also make the payment that's required or the repairs that are required. The other ordinance you have before you with an attached with an attached Exhibit A is ordinance number 31, which is the changes to the Chapter 1335, the Property Maintenance Code. There were a number of changes throughout, but the majority of them deal with the short-term rental property issues. I also made the change that was requested and discussed at the last Committee of the Whole. And then you also have before you ordinance number 35, which would be authorizing the solid waste collection fee for next year. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Treasurer, Mr. Unruh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've had several people reach out since I announced my resignation last week, and just wanted to assure everyone that myself and my family are fine. The situation is caused by family circumstances that changed earlier this year with the passing of my father-in-law. So I will forever be grateful for the trust and confidence the residents have placed in me as their treasurer now for these last 11 years. It's been an honor to serve in this role, and I will be taking many wonderful memories with me of the hometown and everyone here. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety and Service Director, Mr. Wardman.
Thank you. I wanted to address a couple pieces of legislation that were before council tonight. First, with regard to resolution number 8, just for information, this is a standard resolution that the village passes annually. It's a requirement for the application and receipt of Ohio Public Works Commission grant funds. The village has applied for these funds for various street projects, and the final decision with regard to this grant program is due to be announced on December 6th. If we are awarded grant funding, we'll need to file a copy of this resolution with the OPWC before the end of the year, which is why it got put on the, or I'm asking that it be put on the table. Then next, with regard to ordinance number 35, just some background. This is a renewal of the residential trash fee that's currently in place, and it's billed and collected monthly by Greater Cincinnati Waterworks pursuant to a contract between the village and Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. This ordinance was not an increase in the residential trash collection rate. It remains at $15 a month pursuant to this legislation. I would note that while the fees are not increasing pursuant to this legislation, the fees that we pay to Rumpke for the disposal of waste in the landfill are increasing. They'll increase approximately 4% in calendar year 2025 from $38 per ton to $39.50 per ton. So basically a $1.50 increase per ton. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Tax Administrator, Ms. Helms.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the October 2024 Tax Department end-of-month receipts. Tax collection for October of 2024 was $979,399. October of 2024 is down 0.86% or $8,488 from October of 2023. Refunds for October were $26,836. Delinquent tax collected with capital recovery was $342, and delinquent tax collected with the Ohio Attorney General's office was $11,370. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll move to reports of standing committees. Finance, Mr. Morton.
Thank you, Mr. President. As announced last week, the next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for December 3rd at 6 p.m. in the lower level of City Hall to discuss the 2025 budget. The December Community Connect has also been rescheduled for Tuesday, December 10th in the lower level of City Hall from 6 to 7 p.m. As always, all who live or work in the village are, of course, encouraged to attend. Separately, it was brought to my attention that our St. Bernard Elmwood Place School District ranked last place in the county for youth voter registration at just over 16% of 18-year-olds per the research conducted by the Civic Center. I would like to thank the school board member Becky Blevins and the rest of our St. Bernard Elmwood Place School Board for welcoming to speak at their meeting earlier this week about how we can improve this number. Their support, of which I am very, very appreciative, pushes this initiative in a critical step closer to leading the county in youth voter registration. I also had the chance to connect with a representative from the Energy Alliance to discuss our options moving forward towards energy aggregation. Energy Alliance acts as a consultant throughout the energy supplier bidding process and assists council in arranging the needed ballot measure to launch the program. Our conversation answered all of my questions, including, does energy aggregation save our residents and business owners money on their utility bills? Likely yes. They've seen the success in various communities of similar sizes to our village, all in Southwest Ohio. Is there a monetary cost to the village to onboard an energy aggregation program? No. The reduced per kilowatt cost supplements the minimal fee that's charged by Energy Alliance. And lastly, will our administration be responsible for the upkeep of the list of participants? Again, no. That is the service provided by the Energy Alliance, again, at no cost to the village. Given that this is a minimal effort, high reward initiative for both our administration and residents alike, I'm excited to continue this pursuit in the new year. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Service, Mr. Stuchel.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the month of October 2024, $25,576.84 in waste collection fees was remitted to the village. For the month of October 2024, the Service Department completed the following: 38 dump trucks placed at residents, 22 dumpsters placed at residents, 302 special pickups for residents, 175.2 tons of garbage taken to the Rumpke landfill, 24.1 tons of recycling material sent to Rumpke Recycle, 6 car batteries recycled, and 4,119 pounds of scrap metal and 199 pounds of aluminum cans recycled. The Service Department would like to share the following updates with residents. Trash collection for the week of Thanksgiving will be the following: regular trash collection will occur on Monday and Tuesday. Recycling collection for the entire village will take place on Wednesday. Please plan accordingly. And there will be no trash or recycling collection on Thursday or Friday. Leaf collection will be extended until December 20th to accommodate residents whose trees have not yet dropped all their leaves. Additionally, the old deteriorated St. Bernard Board of Education sign at the bottom of Chalet Drive was removed promptly by the service department after it was reported. Lastly, I'd like to personally remind everyone, if you see something in a village that needs attention, please don't hesitate and wait to report it. The service department can't address an issue unless they know about it. You can contact either Safety Service Director Tim Wordman at 513-242-7770 or the service department at 513-242-0086. Your help in keeping our community in great shape is always appreciated. Thank you. That concludes it of my report.
Thank you. Public improvements, Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was no need for a Public Improvement Committee meeting, but I would like to report on a few things. First, I'd like to say how interesting the St. Bernard Ludlow Grove Historical Society program was this month. The subject was the founding and the history of the Emmanuel Church of Christ. We learned how earlier a building was on Clay Street and moved to the present location about 100 years ago. The program also covered the founding and growth of the St. Clement Church in our community. It's amazing how much history we have in our community. As always, I would like to encourage everyone to attend these interesting and well-researched programs. These programs usually are held in the main hall of the municipal building at 7 p.m. on the third Monday of the month. I would also like to encourage all senior citizens in St. Bernard to attend the St. Bernard Senior Citizens Meeting every Wednesday. The meeting starts around 11 and usually ends at around 4 p.m. You can stay as long as you like, come and go as you please. Come for the fellowship, the stories, the snacks, and of course the bingo. Great group of seniors, all St. Bernard seniors welcome. And lastly, I was reminded that our public library will have a club for senior citizens starting Saturday, December 14th from 2 to 3 p.m. The club will feature crafts, snacks, a chance to fellowship. All seniors encouraged to attend. Thank you, Mr. President. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Safety, Ms. Hausfeld.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. President. I have both the police and the fire department report for October. Starting with the fire department, October 2024, sorry. Fire incidents, structure fire 6, other fires 1, vehicle fires 1, auto accidents 7, hazmat incidents 3, service calls 1, fire alarms 6, CO alarms 3, EMS assist 16, total 44. The mutual aid given, Elmwood Place 9, Norwood 2, Deer Park 2. Mutual aid received, 1 from Cincinnati. EMS incidents, transports 54, non-transports 55, for a total of 99. EMS mutual aid given, Norwood 3, Elmwood 4, Cincinnati 1, and no mutual aid received. Hydrant flow testing and inspections were completed. Assisted with seniors' annual grill out. All units toward BAS plant. Participate in active shooter training with the PD and at PNG GPDF facility. Hamilton County USAR is conducting structural collapse and shoring training at the old First State Skyline Building in the square Thursday and Friday. I'm assuming this next week. Oh, right now. Today and yet tomorrow. That completes the fire report, the police report. I have the police activity for the month of October. 563 total contacts involving 763 calls for service. There were an additional 427 other services, details that were not necessarily called in by the public. These calls for services included 39 total criminal offenses, resulting in 85 criminal arrests, 68 traffic citations, as well as 97 traffic warnings. Of all these traffic contacts, 30 were for speeding violations. There were 4 arrests for OVI also. They responded to 21 accidents, 2 of which included injuries. We also responded to 21 requests for mutual aid. Under his news and notes, if you are interested in proudly showing your support for your police department, Yard signs are available for pickup at the safety center. Just call 513-242-2727 if you are interested, and they will have them ready for you in the lobby. Thanks. That concludes both my reports, Mr. President.
Thank you. Laws, contracts, and claims, Mr. Schultmeyer.
No report, Mr. President.
Marketing, Mr. Culbertson.
No report.
Thank you. Business and industry, Mr. Estep.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder, our annual Christmas for Needy Children will be December 12th at the St. Bernard Eagles. It's from 6:30 to about 11. It's $20 for admission, and that includes bringing a new unwrapped toy for a needy child, and that gets your beer and food all night. If you can't attend and you'd like to drop off a toy or a present, or sometimes they take clothing such as hats and gloves, you can drop them off at our house at 120 Delmar. Also, good luck to John Ungroy. We appreciate you having you here all those years. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole, Ms. Stegman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Minutes for the last meeting were submitted yesterday, Wednesday, the 20th, and I have no communications this evening.
Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to place Resolutions 7 and 8 on the table, as well as ordinance number 35. It was discussed at Committee of the Whole, and I was just looking over my notes. I failed to ask to have the trash ordinance placed on the table. So if I could have a motion to place those two resolutions and one ordinance on the table.
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to place resolutions number 7, 8, and ordinance number 35
Yes.
on the table.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to place resolutions 7 and 8, as well as ordinance 35 on the table. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of resolution number 6, 2024?
Resolution number 6, 2024, a resolution authorizing the Director of Public Services and Safety to enter into an agreement for retail electricity with a competitive retail electric service provider through the Center for Local Government Electricity Consortium and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of resolution number 6, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer,
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number, which was it?
resolution 6.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Resolution number 6.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to suspend with the second and third reading of resolution number 6, 2024. Are there any remarks? If not, clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schultmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 6, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to adopt resolution number 6, 2024. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schultmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Or resolution number 6, 2024 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of resolution number 7, 2024?
Resolution number 7, 2024, a resolution of the Village of St. Bernard of Ohio supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States quintessential quincentennial America 250 Ohio and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of resolution number 7, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance, or resolution number 7, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to suspend with the second and third reading of resolution number 7, 2024. Are there any remarks? If not, clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schultmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 7, 2024.
I'll
second it.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to adopt resolution number 7, 2024. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Resolution number 7, 2024 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of resolution number 8, 2024?
Resolution number 8, 2024, a resolution authorizing the Village of St. Bernard to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or Local Transportation Improvement Program, and to execute contracts as required, and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of resolution number 8, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of resolution number 8, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to suspend with the second and third reading of resolution number 8, 2024. Are there any remarks? If not, clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 8, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to adopt resolution number 8, 2024. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Resolution number 8, 2024 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 30, 2024?
Ordinance number 30, 2024, an ordinance adopting Title III, Chapter 1340, resignation of vacant residential, commercial, and industrial buildings of the codified ordinances of the Village of St. Bernard, Ohio.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 30, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to allow ordinance number 30, 2024 to go regular course.
I'll second it. Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to allow ordinance number 30, 2024 to take its regular course. Are there any remarks? If not, clerk, will you please call the roll on the motion to go regular course?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Ordinance number 30, 2024 will take its regular course. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 31, 2024?
Ordinance number 31, 2024, an ordinance amending Chapter 1335, Property Maintenance Code of the Codified Ordinances of the Village of St. Bernard, Ohio.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 31, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to allow ordinance number 31, 2024 to go regular course.
I'll second it. A motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to have ordinance number 31, 2024 go regular course. Are there any remarks? Not, clerk. Oh, I blew it on the last one. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council on ordinance 31? Sorry about that. Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer? Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 31, 2024 will go regular course. Clerk, will you please give ordinance number 33, 2024 its first reading?
Ordinance number 33, 2024, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of St. Bernard, Ohio, revising the traffic and general offenses codes to comply with state law and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 33, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 33, 2024.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 33, 2024. Are there any remarks? Not. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council on ordinance 33? Not clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 33, 2024.
I'll second that. Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to adopt ordinance 33, 2024. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schulmeyer? Mr. Culbertson? And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 33, 2024 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 34, 2024?
Ordinance number 34, 2024, authorizing and directing the auditor to transfer funds and provide additional appropriations and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 34, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 34, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 34, 2024. Are there any remarks? Not? Anyone in the audience? No. Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson? And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 34, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to adopt ordinance number 34, 2024. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 34, 2024 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 35, 2024?
Ordinance number 35, 2024, authorizing the solid waste collection fee for residential accounts for the year of 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 35, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 35, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 35, 2024. Are there any remarks?
Mr. President.
Mr. Morton?
All right, trying to get this to not have feedback. Sorry. I would prefer for this to go regular course and get at least 2 readings in. I understand that this needs to get passed before the end of the calendar year, but given the level of public interest that a similar ordinance like this had at the beginning of the year, I think we owe it to folks to at least do a first reading tonight, a second reading in December, and then suspend the third reading in December.
Are there any other remarks? That will require Mr. Schultmeyer's and Estep to rescind their motion. Since there is a motion on the table to suspend the second and third, they would have to take their motion back.
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer?
is there any downside to timing-wise for this, for us? Do we know? I don't know who I'm asking.
I've been informed that we need to have this passed by the end of the year, so as long as it passes in December, we should be fine. So I think doing the process as Mr. Morton suggested is appropriate.
Okay, then I would rescind my motion to
I will too.
suspend.
Then I'll entertain a motion to have ordinance number 35 go regular course.
Mr. President.
Mr. Morton?
I'd like to make a motion to proceed with ordinance number 35, 2024 with regular course.
I'll second that. A motion by Mr. Morton, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to have ordinance number 35, 2024 go regular course. Are there any other remarks from the audience? Good. Clerk, will you call the roll on the motion to go regular course?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schildmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 35, 2024 will go regular course. At this time, I will entertain a motion to move the December council meeting from December 26th. I don't think that anyone wants to meet the day after Christmas, so I'll entertain a motion to move the December council meeting to December 19th, 2024.
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'll make a motion to move December 26th council meeting to December 19th.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to move the December council meeting to Thursday, December 19th, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will get with the clerk and make sure that makes it onto the calendar.
Mr. President,
Mr. Colbert,
what's the situation with ordinance 32?
it's already been passed. I've got ordinance 32 in my brief.
an appropriation ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
appropriation ordinance.
Yeah, I've got it listed on the table for tonight, okay?
All right, anyone on council have anything under old business? Does anybody on council have anything under new business? Not, does anyone in the audience wish to address council? If not, I show the next committee of the whole to be Thursday, December 12th at 7 p.m. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Mr. Culbertson.
make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Culbertson, second by Mr. Estep to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.